Okay, here's what I gotta think about Raw. I had to say something. Now, before we get started, I have to address the rumor of Vince and Triple H. I got to. I already know. Someone's going to say below, or someone's going to leave a comment in one of my videos saying, dude, did you hear? Triple H has been chosen by Endeavor to run anything. No, there's no such thing as Endeavor. There's TK Group Holdings and Emmanuel. That's saying Endeavor. Maybe it is a no. Look, let me give it to you like this. We don't have proof until we get 100% solid proof that Vince is not running anything anymore, because he's still the executive chairman of WWE and executive chairman of TK Group Holdings. Rumors mean nothing until we get solid proof. They state it. Or we hear that Vince has been fired officially. Until then, I don't believe anything that's stated. You can say it below, but as I've said in this video, there's no proof. It's rumor. Now, we get to this show. Let's make this clear. All of this is temporary. Practically everything here almost is temporary and really didn't amount to anything. We just got some good matches, but nothing that's leading into Crown Jewel except for one match. One so far. Now let's do Kofi versus Ivar. Now we already know he lost Kofi, and Valhalla helped Ivar to win. But what does this really mean for New Day? Hell, what does this mean for Ivar and Valhalla? Nothing. They've dealt with each other now for the last couple of weeks, but it doesn't really mean anything. Now, Ivar's partner is still out. I can't remember his name. For some reason, I'm blanking on his name. You'll probably leave it below, but without a partner, Ivar needs to be on his own until he comes back. But if you're having him stay with the New Day, what does that really give him? Nothing. What does this give Kofi and Xavier Woods? Nothing. I don't see anything interesting for them. I'm just saying. Next, Raquel versus Nia Jax. Now, I got to say this right now, and I'm going to make it clear. You got two women, very big-ass women. One of them can actually wrestle decently well, and that is Raquel. And then you have one that has been known to be very sloppy in the ring, and that's Nia Jax. Taking away from, they're both probably very sweet and nice in real life, and both of them are decently good-looking women. Let's make it clear that Nia Jax used to be a full-figured model. She used to model. So those curves used to have been in some panties and some drawers and a bra, and was walking around with almost nothing on. So I'm not saying Nia's not appealing as a decently good-looking woman. But we're still talking about Nia Jax, who's not always great on the mic, and who's been very sloppy in the ring. And when you see the match, she was sloppy. She was sloppy. Legitimately, when you see Raquel, she had to work harder to deal with Nia. Because not only because they're trying to push Nia, but Nia's sloppy. And that match just showed it. Now, what do we get? We get Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. Rhea coming out beating up on both women, but more on Nia than anything else. And then Shayna coming out trying to beat up on Nia. And then we got them facing one another. And now we're going to have a match next week instead of for Crown Jewel. Why? Why couldn't you make it a triple threat between Nia, Raquel, and Shayna next week for the next opponent going into Crown Jewel? Why? Why don't we have that? We got just a temporary thing. Just like what's going on with Ivar and New Day. They don't have anything. It's just temporary. Nothing has been built for them. Next, we get the IC match for the number one contendership. No, not IC match. You know what's messing with me? We went from Shinsuke Nakamura being so damn good in the character they gave him, the Shogun. They refused to drop the title to a Shinsuke Nakamura because Seth still has it. And I will get to Seth and Drew in a few minutes. But now he's messing with Ricochet. And what does that give Ricochet? A filler match and a filler feud. What does it give Shinsuke Nakamura, who is here who should have won. They should have pulled the trigger, and they refused to do it. What did they give him? A downgrade. I'm sorry. If you love a Ricochet, and I don't hate him myself, he's a great aerial pro wrestler. But he is here. We were talking about Seth, who's here, and Shinsuke Nakamura, who's there as well. And now Shinsuke has gone down here. That's what this is. Because they should have let Seth lose. They should have. Now, he had a match against Bronson Reed and Chad Gable. And seeing Chad get chopped so he can get tough, it was good. Then seeing Ricochet get his ass beat up before he got into the match was okay. And the match itself was good. And when it came down to it, having Bronson win was the wisest thing to do. You had to have him win. Chad already got a shot. Ricochet already got a shot. It would be repetitive. So they had to let Bronson win. I'm not surprised. Now, Drew versus JD McDonough. This is where I'm frustrated. Let's make this clear. Let me ask you this. Shouldn't JD already be a member of Judgment Day? Tell me I'm wrong. Because as it stands at this point, how many times he had to save Judgment Day? He should have already been a member of Judgment Day. And worse yet, JD McDonough is a wuss. A wuss. Let's make it clear. He's been kissing ass so much in this story. In him working with Judgment Day, what made him so special as the Irish Ace when he was in NXT. When he was the Dragon. Like Dragunov. As a Red Dragon, he was a dragon as well. He was also a dragon. He had a sadistic side that just showed flat out. But when you saw him in the back, and I don't even need to tell you what happened in the match because he lost. He did hurt a Drew, but he didn't stand a chance. He didn't act like the Irish Ace. They said he was sadistic. He had barely any defense. He barely showed how tough he was. He showed how much of a Judgment Day wuss he is. So when you see this, it doesn't make any sense. He was so aggressive and so monstrous in NXT. They completely cut that from him. And if anybody says, oh, he's still the same, how? He looks like a pussy. Even though he was a small sort of guy. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off my alarm. There was something I was supposed to do tonight, and I already did it, so. But JD just feels like a pussy. And now the last match we got before the main event was a match that shouldn't have happened here. This is where this is all temporary stuff. All temporary. Because look what we got here. We got an NXT World Women's Championship match. Why didn't you save this for Crown Jewel for the next 3 weeks? Why didn't you build up Tegan Nox? Why didn't you give a Becky Lynch time to recover? Tell me, why didn't you let Becky Lynch just recover more? She could still, for the next 3 weeks, rest her arm, because when you watch the match, I've seen Tegan Nox wrestle. I've seen Becky Lynch wrestle. They don't normally act that damn slow. Sorry. I am telling you now, that was a slow match. Very slow. You know why? Because Becky has 11 stitches in her arm, and instead of letting her have for the next 3 weeks to recover and not have to wrestle, just set up the story with a Tegan Nox, just not one vid pack of her. Let her, for the next 3 weeks, wrestle. Let her go up against Xia Li. Let her go up against Michan. Let her go up against Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. We just saw them in the back asking what happened to DIY. And I'll talk about them in a minute. But why? Why don't they build into Crown Jewel with this? Why didn't they want to? It didn't matter. There was no point in this. It was dumb to have this match and see how slow and how protected they wanted to make Becky Lynch. Now, were they rough near the end of the match? Yeah, a little rough. But I could tell how much they were holding back. Look, when Becky did her disarmer, she wasn't even pulling back on her arm. She was just holding it. I've seen her pull like this, so it looked good. She can't even do that with her right arm. I believe it's her right arm where she got the 11 stitches. She can't do it. And instead of leaving it and let it 3 weeks of build. No. Becky got no build for the next 3 weeks. Would it hurt for her not to wrestle for 3 weeks? She can be seen on TV all she needs to. And they could say she's not medically cleared. She needs more time to heal from her stitches. It's not that freaking hard. Final match. KO and Sammy versus Cody and Jay. Look, you know I'm not against Jay. I'm not against Cody. I'm not against Sammy and KO. But why did they rush this? Why? Why didn't they build up into it? Why didn't they just let Jay and Cody build up in the crown jewel to have a new opponent? They give something. No, they just wanted to give them a quick win against KO and Sammy, who should get the next shot because they were blocked by the bloodline. They couldn't just build up some type of intrigue, some type of frustration for KO and Jay. Because now, after that match, KO now accepts Jay because they beat each other up to the point where he now knows that he's not bad anymore. But you couldn't build up into Crown Jewel and make it mean something over in Saudi Arabia? No. What a waste. Now, opening the show. Drew comes out interfering with Seth, talking about that was the hardest fight he's ever had and he's been pushed to the limit. Really? I won't say that it was a bad match. It was a good match. But pushed to the limit with Shinsuke where he should have won. The one who is at the limit was Shinsuke. And Shinsuke should have won that match. But I digress. Then Drew comes out. He says, I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to attack you from behind. I'm not going to just pulverize you. I'm coming straight to your face. And how about me and you have a match at Crown Jewel? And he says, I'm a little surprised. I'm a little taken back because I'm always getting attacked. And that's Seth. And he says to the crowd, hey, should this happen? And they all agreed. Seth agreed. And he tried to mess with Drew with the 3MB stuff because we still have 3MB that still mess with him. And he says, no, I got some stuff to do in the back. And that was to deal with JD McDonough. But seeing that he got attacked by Judgment Day in the back, seeing that Dirty Dom got his face a Glasgow kiss because he was going to try and let a Damian Priest cash in, why Damian Priest didn't have the briefcase with him, that just shows they didn't want him to just cash in immediately, which really looked clunky. That looked clunky. I'm telling you. And it goes along with what I'm taking. JD McDonough, after that segment later, looked like a damn pussy in front of Damian Priest. He looked... He was never scared of anyone. The Irish Ace didn't need to be scared. He might have been a soft little runt, but he wasn't scared against anyone, big or small. In NXT, he was able to whoop anyone's ass. Or got whooped. But at least he showed he never gave in. The way he acted with Damian, it was like it was nothing but a damn pussy. And that went with it. It's a waste. A waste. Next. 3. Let me give it to you like this. It's pissing me off that we got a vid pack for Tegan Knox, and as I said earlier, they could have built the next 3 weeks Tegan. They didn't. Then we see her in the back with Carter, Chance, the tag champions of Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. And what do we get the most of? What do we get the most of? Guys, we're getting a match. You know, I still like Natalya. Not everyone likes Natalya. She's been there a long time. But I like Natalya. She's not a bad wrestler. She's very good. She's not a bad character when they book her correctly. But what is she now? Tell me, what was she wearing? Look, I love me a curvy-ass woman. Look, I was married to a very curvy-ass woman who eventually decided to do something not many people would understand and accept. And I accepted it because I loved her and she wanted to do that. And when I see a Natalya Neidhart coming out in a very open shirt, wearing a very, very short kind of plaid dress, sort of red and white with red lines on it. I forgot, it's like a white plaid, I think that's what it is. And showing so much titty. What the fuck am I looking at? Am I looking at a women's division that cares about women's wrestling? Or are we looking at what? I don't know. There's going to be a match on the premiere season of Raw next week. But do I care? No. I'm just like, there's no build for anything. We're having our next pay-per-view. If you're going to build beyond that, say it. You don't have to. You got to build something beyond Crown Jewel. If it's that important, you got to do Crown Jewel. You got to build into something that's going to have implications for Crown Jewel, and that's going to have implications for Survivor Series. And we got nothing. Nothing. And then, let me give it to you like this. Why, at this moment, would I care about DIY, Ciampa, and Gargano? I should. I should care about Ciampa and Gargano. I would like them to have a little time before they start having a fight with Imperium. Because let's make this clear. People know about Ciampa. They know about Gargano. But they never heard of DIY. And if you really want, and that's hardcore NXT fans, we're still dealing with a lot of casuals that don't know. Why didn't you just let them show themselves as DIY, go in the ring and say it, and then change their clothes, let them have the music of DIY, let them be presented to DIY. Yes, we did get Wade Barrett talking about it, and then they got their asses whooped. I would have liked them to have enough time to build into it, and Imperium to confront them saying, you guys think you're so great. We are Imperium. You think you're so good? We're better than you. Why don't we have a match at Crown Jewel and we'll show you? Why not do that first instead of attacking? I think it would have been more effective if they just talked first. Let DIY present themselves to the fans that have never seen them as DIY. Then Imperium come and then have a fight with them, because Imperium is more established as a team and DIY has not been a team for years. They needed that, and I think that's how it is. My honest opinion, this wasn't a great show. Is it bad? No. I say it's middle of the road right here. Right here. And most of the time for the last couple of months, it's been like this for me personally. It's not been here. They had a few times where the pay-per-view was here, above average, but they've been hovering right about here. But it's just me. Peace.